ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीमद् भागवत गीता एज इट इज की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for All session. Today is December 20th, 2024. So let us first recite uh, Bhagavad Gita chapter 18. One second, trying to open the page. So yesterday we saw three types of um, happiness. So until there we will recite now. Also, I'll be ending the class early today once again. Um, yeah. Okay, let's recite Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. Arjuna uvacha sannyasasya mahabaho tattvam ichchami veditum tyagasya cha hrishikesha prithak keshinishudana. Sri Bhagavan uvacha kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo viduhu sarvakarma phalatyagam prahustyagam vichakshanaha त्याज्यं दोषवद् इत्येके कर्म प्राहुर्मनीषिणः यज्ञदानातपः कर्म न त्याज्यम् इति चापरे। निश्चयं शृणु मे तत्र त्यागे भरतसत्तमा त्यागो हि पुरुषव्याघ्र त्रिविधः सम्प्रकीर्तितः यज्ञदानतपः कर्म न त्याज्यं कार्यमेव तत् यज्ञोदानं तपश्चैव पावनानि मनीषिणाम् एतान्यपि तु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतमुत्तमम्। नियतस्य तु सन्न्यासः कर्मणो नोपपद्यते मोहात् तस्य परित्यागस्तामसः परिकीर्तितः। दुःखम् इत्येव यत्कर्म कायक्लेशभयात् त्यजेत् स कृत्वा राजसं त्यागं नैव त्यागफलं लभेत्। कार्यम् इत्येव यत्कर्म नियतं क्रियतेऽर्जुन सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलं चैव स त्यागः सात्विको मतः। न द्वेष्ट्य कुशलं कर्म कुशलेनानुषज्यते त्यागी सत्त्वसमाविष्टो मेधावी छिन्न संशयः न हि देहभृता शक्यं त्यक्तुं कर्माण्यशेषतः यस्तु कर्मफलत्यागी सत्यागीत्यभिधीयते। Sorry. न हि देहभृता शक्यं त्यक्तुं कर्माण्यशेषतः यस्तु कर्मफलत्यागी सत्यागीत्यभिधीयते। अनिष्टम् इष्टं मिश्रं च त्रिविधं कर्मणः फलं भवत्यत्यागिनां प्रीत्या न तु सन्न्यासिनां क्वचित्। पञ्चैतानि महाबाहो कारणानि निबोध मे साङ्ख्ये कृतान्ते प्रोक्तानि सिद्धये सर्वकर्मणाम्। अधिष्ठानं तथा कर्ता करणं च पृथग्विधं विविधाश्च पृथक् चेष्टा दैवं चैवात्र पञ्चमम्। शरीरवान् मनोभिर्यत् कर्म प्रारभते नरः न्याय्यं वा विपरीतं वा पञ्चैते तस्य हेतवः। तत्रैवं सति कर्तारम् आत्मानं केवलं तु यः पश्यत्यकृतबुद्धित्वान् न स पश्यति दुर्मतिः। यस्य नाहङ्कृतो भावो बुद्धिर्यस्य न लिप्यते हत्वापि स इमान् लोकान् न हन्ति न निबध्यते। ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं परिज्ञाता त्रिविधा कर्म चोदना करणं कर्म कर्तेति त्रिविधः कर्म संग्रहः। ज्ञानं कर्म च कर्ता च त्रिधैव गुणभेदतः प्रोच्यते गुणसङ्ख्याने यथावत् शृणुतान्यपि। सर्वभूतेषु येनैकं भावम् अव्ययमीक्षते अविभक्तं विभक्तेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि सात्विकम्। पृथक्त्वेन तु यज्ज्ञानं नानाभावान् पृथग्विधान् वेत्ति सर्वेषु भूतेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि राजसम्। यत्तु कृत्स्नवद् एकस्मिन् कार्ये सक्तम् अहैतुकम् अतत्त्वार्थवद् अल्पं च तत्तामसम् मुदाहृतम्। नियतं सङ्गरहितम् अरागद्वेषतः कृतम् अफलप्रेप्सुना कर्म यत्तत् सात्विकम् उच्यते। यत्तु कामेप्सुना कर्म साहङ्कारेण वा पुनः क्रियते बहुलायासां तद्राजसम् उदाहृतम्। अनुबन्धं क्षयं हिंसाम् अनपेक्षा च पौरुषम् मोहाद् आरभ्यते कर्म यत्तत् तामसमुच्यते। मुक्तसङ्गो न संवादी धृत्युत्साहसमन्वितः सिद्ध्यसिद्ध्योर्निर्विकारः कर्ता सात्विक उच्यते। रागी कर्मफलप्रेप्सुर्लुब्धो हिंसात्मको शुचिः हर्षशोकान्वितः कर्ता राजसः परिकीर्तितः। अयुक्तः प्रकृतः प्राकृतः स्तब्धः शठो नैष्कृतिकोलसः विषादी दीर्घसूत्री च कर्ता तामस उच्यते। बुद्धेर्भेदं धृतेश्चैव गुणतस्त्रिविधं शृणु प्रोच्यमानम् अशेषेण पृथक्त्वेन धनञ्जय। प्रवृत्तिं च निवृत्तिं च कार्याकार्ये भयाभये बन्धं मोक्षं च या वेत्ति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी। यया धर्मम् अधर्मं च कार्यं चाकार्यमेव च अयथावत् प्रजानाति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ राजसी। अधर्मं धर्मम् इति या मन्यते तमसावृता सर्वार्थान् विपरीतांश्च बुद्धिः सा पार्थ तामसी। धृत्या यया धारयते मनः प्राणेन्द्रियक्रियाः योगेनाव्यभिचारिण्या धृतिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी। यया तु धर्मकामार्थान् धृत्या धारयते अर्जुन प्रसङ्गेन फलाकाङ्क्षी धृति सा पार्थ राजसी यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकं विषादं मदमेव च न विमुञ्चति दुर्मेधा धृति सा पार्थ तामसी सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभा अभ्यासाद् रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति यत्तद् अग्रे विषम् इव परिणामे मृतोपमम् तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम् विषयेन्द्रिय विषयेन्द्रिय संयोगात् यत्तद् अग्रे मृतोपमम् परिणामे विषम् इव तत्सुखं राजसंस्मृतम् यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनम् आत्मनः निद्रालस्य प्रमादोत्थं तत्तामसम् उदाहृतम्. So that's where we ended yesterday. We saw three types of happiness. Now we are going to the next section, text 40. Natad asti prithivyam va. Before we continue, Priyanka Haripriya Mataji. So is your question solved, Mataji, about the difference between tyaga in goodness and sannyas? Is it solved?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Accept
Hare
my
Krishna.
humble obeisances, Yashoda.
Please accept humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
So, Tyaga in goodness and sannyas. Their name. That's what you're saying?
I'm saying you're saying they are the same, right? Because you
Yes.
said tyaga and
I mean, in
sannyas
book
are
it is written like that.
right. But
yeah.
So text 7 you said. Here, I'll just share text 7 with you. What is said
And
there?
6. Actually,
6 also.
in morning I also found the Sanskrit tika of the whatever little I could understand. So in Sanskrit also the word sannyas and tyaga are mentioned, but obviously I couldn't derive the meaning out of it. I don't know. But that for the sixth verse, जैसा इन्होंने यहाँ पे translation किया है in the sixth verse, so the similar way
you can see the shloka. Okay.
I saw that in the Sanskrit as well. So मुझे लगा कि है तो similar, but I don't know how exactly the translation is being done and why Venugopal Prabhu didn't mention it to you. So I was not sure.
Okay. Text 6 says, एतान्यपि तु कर्माणि संगम त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतम् उत्तमम्. एतान्यपि तु कर्माणि, मतलब here what Krishna said in the previous verse is, see, यज्ञदान तपः कर्म न त्याज्यम कार्यमेव तत्, right? यज्ञो दानम तपश्चैव पावनानि मनीषिणम्. Before this Krishna said, now निश्चयं शृणु मे. Now here what is my opinion? So first Krishna said, this is the opinion of some people, so this is, you should give up work and take sannyas, you should not do work, this is the opinion of the jnanis. Whereas the karmis say, no, you should do these things and enjoy the result. Now you hear my opinion, right? Hear what my opinion is. And then Krishna says there are three types of tyaga, trividaha. Okay. Then Krishna is saying, yagya dana tapa karma na tyajyam karyameva. You should not give up yagya dana tapa karma. So, why? Because it purifies men. Yagya dana tapa actually purifies men. So you should not give up yagya dana tapa. Okay. Then coming to sixth verse, etanyapi tu karmani, but, right? Tu means but. All these, matlab yajnadana tapa, you should do, but in what way you should do yajnadana tapa? Sangam tyaktva phalani cha. You have to give up association with what? Sangam tyaktva. Sangam means attachment, right? That means sangam tyaktva means yes, that I am the doer, or even like being attached to the work itself. When will you become attached to the work? When you're identifying yourself as the doer, isn't it? So that means, or also it is like when there is happiness, you want to do it. When there is distress, you don't want to do it. That is also sangam tyaktva means whether there is happiness or distress, it does not matter. this karma, yagyadana tapa should be done, but it should be done sangam tyaktva phalani cha, both, right? For the result as well as with not being attached to the conditions of the work. That means whether by doing that work, whether I'm getting happiness or distress, I should not be attached to that. And also I should not be attached, not that I'm accepting pain and pleasure while doing the work so that I will get the result. That also happens, right? So I'm willing to go through, tolerate pain and pleasure while doing the work because I know I'll get the result. So both, here cha means both. So your association with the work itself, that means when you're doing the work, it's giving you pleasure and pain. Don't be affected by that. Sangam tyaktva. Don't be affected by happiness or distress that comes while performing the work. And also phala. Don't be attached and give up that phala also. Give up association with happiness or distress that comes while doing the work. And also give up attachment to the result that comes at the end. Both you have to give up. You should do yagya dana tapa, but giving up attachment to the result and also not being affected by the conditions while you're doing that work. You may get difficulties while doing the work, or it may be very pleasing, but under all circumstances, you must do your work. Kartavyani iti. How you should do? Ye mera kartavya hai. Doing this. When will that come? This is my duty to do, regardless of whether it is giving happiness or distress. I should do my karma. When will this come? Uh, whether
This
it
will
is
come
giving
when you are at the stage of self, when you have realized yourself, then when you are above the body conception, right?
no, no. So Nishkama Karma Yoga means this is a practice. This is sadhana. When you have already realized,
Mm.
that means now you have, that's the result. Realizing that I'm not this body is the result of
Mm.
this activity. Now,
Okay.
see, first the procedure is like this. One, before this, you are a karmi. So karmi will do work because he wants the result. And now this karmi comes in contact with a sadhu, a jnani. And the sadhu will tell him, "Oh, my dear friend, why you're working so hard? Uh, and you're working so hard to earn the result and you want to enjoy the result. This is not even your identity. You are not this Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Actually, you are a spirit soul. Why you are unnecessarily wasting your valuable time in doing this activity? You should rise above this bodily platform. Now this person is already, all he knows is karma only. All this time he's been doing karma. All of a sudden he cannot tell him drop everything. That is not advised, right? Just drop, give up this karma. No, Krishna also does not advise that. You continue your karma but change the quality of your work. That's how this Jnani will inspire him. So how he has to change the quality like this. So this does not mean he has already achieved.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah. Mm.
Ah, so now you do your karma. Continue your doing your karma. And karma means again Shastra with karma only. But like this you have to do. Sangam tyaktva phalanicha. Give up association with whether it's bringing happiness or distress. And also don't be attached to the result. And don't even take that. You have to give up the result. That result you have to offer to the Lord. But you continue doing work. Why you should do work even though you don't want? Because until now I was doing work because I wanted the result. Now you do work giving up the result for the sake of realizing that you are not this body. So this stage is actually Nishkama Karma Yoga and this is called Tyaga. This is called Tyaga. Tyaga means giving up the result of your work. That is Tyaga. Okay. So एतान्यपि tu कर्माणि ये सब कर्म करना है लेकिन tu means लेकिन एतानि all these api although you're doing all this work but you should do it like this sangam tyaktva phalani cha कर्तव्यानि इति दिस इज माय ड्यूटी सोचकर करना है और इस तरह से उससे जो संगम त्यक्त उसका जो हैप्पीनेस डिस्ट्रेस से जो हम अफेक्ट होते हैं यू शुड गिव दैट अप एंड ऑल्सो यू शुड गिव अप द रिजल्ट एंड यू शुड डू योर कर्मस नाउ with a sense of duty nishchitam matam uttamam this is my opinion and this is the best thing to do krishna is saying this is my final uttamam means this is my final opinion so what is krishna saying in this verse krishna is saying Do your karma, but without attachment to result. Give up the result. So what is this? Is it sannyas or is it tyaga? This is tyaga. Because in the initial stages it is said sannyas means not doing work itself. Tyaga means
Mataji, but in the second verse, in the initial stage, that is also opinion of the learned people, right? That the learned people say so. What is it? Kavya viduhu. So kavyo viduhu, sannyasam kavya viduhu. So there also it is mentioned that mm, sannyasa or the renounced order of life is of the kamya karmas. That is specifically saying kamya karmas, not for the all the activities,
acha,
right?
like that you're saying. Okay, okay, okay.
Like
Kamyanam karmanam nyasam. Acha, giving up kamya karma you're saying. Fruitive
yeah,
activity you should give up.
kamya karmas जैसे वो mentioned in the I mean in Vishnu
Yes, yes, yes.
Chakravarti Thakur, yeah, like putra kameshti jaggi and all that.
Right. So there are five types of karma. There is nitya karma, naimittika karma, kamya karma, prayaschitta karma, and nishiddha karma. Five types of karma are there, in which kamya karma you should not do. It's not recommended because that is fruitive activity. And nishiddha karma also you should not do, forbidden activity. And if you're not doing nishiddha karma, then what is the need of prayaschitta karma? Atonement also. So those three are removed. So what is remaining now? Nitya karma and naimittika karma are remaining. Nitya karma means you're doing Sandhya Vandanam, etc. Right? Regulated activities which you do. Nitya karma, that you should do. And also, a second one is Naimittika. Naimittika means samskaras. So, Nitya karmas you should do. Okay. So, here it is saying sannyas means giving up of kama karma. Okay. So, then here.
So yeah.
So how will you explain, or how is the commentary explaining the sixth verse then? Matlab, tell me your understanding.
Yeah, six words. As per my understanding, the six words is saying firstly the Sangam Tyaktva they have um, translated as uh, the misconception of being the doer. Like here it being said, the association. You have to the association of with the happiness or distress that is coming along with the doing karma. That is one thing. Another thing that they have mentioned is that giving up the idea of being the doer and giving up seeking results is tyag, and this is also called sannyas. So in sannyas, what they are saying is that even if you are doing your nitya karma, which you should do because you are renouncing the kamya karmas, not the nitya karmas, and in performing the nitya karmas, if you are having this, have to get above the idea of being doer and of the giving up the seeking mentality of seeking results. So that is also called sannyas. That's what my understanding is
Yeah,
as
yeah,
per
yeah,
this
yeah.
verse.
Okay. So, etanyapi tu karmani. So, which karma is Krishna talking about? Yagya, dana, tapa. So, yagya,
Yeah.
dana, tapa, you're saying this is not including kamya karma, right? Because this is the
Because
continuation of previous verse, no?
yeah, and
So,
also in the next verse that is also being mentioned because that sannyasis they can reject kame karmas, but because they are not obligatory of doing it, nitya karmas that are not to be rejected. So
acha,
in yes, because if you are doing that out of ignorance, then it becomes tamsic tyaga. So so somewhere I think this was in Subodhini book earlier. I have read this. Tyag and sannyas essentially they are the same because there is no difference between renouncing the order of life and renunciation of the fruits of work. Thus, they both are equated as renunciation. So that's why from the eighth verses onwards, also or 11th verse onwards, Krishna has starting saying like to giving up the prescribed duties. So giving up the work itself. So giving up the work itself is a sannyas thing, right, Mataji? As
right?
if so, but Krishna is describing that under the tyag, like tyag in passion or tyag in ignorance. So Krishna is using those terms interchangeably. That's what we had read in Bhakti Shastra at that time. So
Okay.
that's how I recall it, and therefore I went to check the translation and all that.
Yes, Mataji. So, here now I'll tell you the way we have understood it. Niyatastu, niyata means
छोड़ना नहीं
what?
था नहीं बेटा
Niyata means the prescribed duties.
ये लो करो
that which is prescribed for you. Niyatastu, sannyasa means giving up. But giving up of your prescribed duties, niyata karma, right? Niyata karma. Niyata means niyam se jo karte हैं ना, नियतस्य कर्म. So to sannyasa मतलब उनको छोड़ देना. नियतस्य to sannyasah karmano na upapadyate. It's not recommended. Giving up of prescribed duties is not recommended.
Yeah. Yes.
तो आपके लिए प्रिस्क्राइब ड्यूटीज, एक बार आप जब संन्यास ले लेते हैं तो आपके लिए कोई प्रिस्क्राइब ड्यूटी नहीं रहता है दैट यू हैव टू डू ब्राह्मण ड्यूटीज और दिस इज वर्ण के अनुसार यू डोंट हैव, because once you take sannyas then there is not, it's not like now you have to do varna duties will not be there for a sannyasi. But here what Krishna is saying, niyatasya tu sannyasah karmano na upapadyate, you should not give up prescribed duties, this is not recommended. But moha ke karan, moha tasya parityagas, if you give up your prescribed duties out of illusion, because of illusion you are giving up your prescribed duties. मतलब prescribed duty छोड़ने का एक, there is a qualification required to give up prescribed duties. At one stage you can give up prescribed duties. What is that stage? When you are completely purified, when you get antakarna shuddhi, then you can give up prescribed duties. उससे पहले you should not give up prescribed duties. Okay, so नियतस्य तो संन्यासः कर्मणो न उपपद्यते मोहात. आपको, you didn't get full purification of heart and still you are giving up your duties because of illusion, then that type of giving up of your duties is called tamasa tyaga. So tyaga means giving up, we know. Tyaga means, because Krishna is explaining here tyaga only. First Arjun said, I want to know what is sannyas, what is tyaga. So Krishna said, my opinion is don't give up yagya dana tapa, but with this quality you should do. What is the quality? Uh, uh, Sangam tyaktva phalani cha and kartavyani iti. Right? This is my duty. Sochkar you should do yagya dana tapa, and with a sense of duty you should do without being affected by happiness or distress, and also not desirous of the result. Same thing what Krishna says in the second chapter. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma karma phala heturbur mate sanga. Mate sangosta karmani. Same thing. It's not different. It's the same, exactly same thing. So that is, what is that? Krishna is saying, do your work, but with this quality you do your work. ये किसको बोलते हैं? कर्म ऐसे करो बोलकर. सन्यासी को कर्म के बारे में नहीं बोलते हैं. तो यहाँ संन्यासः मतलब छोड़ देना.
काम कर्म योग के लिए ही बात
हाँ,
हो रही
छोड़ना
है.
मतलब नहीं नहीं, यहाँ बोल रहे हैं संन्यास का मतलब छोड़ देना. न्यास मतलब क्या है? छोड़ देना. तो जो आपके जो नियमित कर्म है, नियतस्य कर्मणः, मतलब जो आपके प्रिस्क्राइब ड्यूटीज है उसको छोड़ना नहीं चाहिए. न उपपद्यते, उसको नहीं छोड़ना चाहिए. लेकिन यदि मोह से आप छोड़ देते हैं, मोहा तस्य परित्यागस, अगर if you give up your prescribed duties out of illusion, then that is called tamasa tyaga. Tamasa tyaga. So now he is giving qualities of tyaga. That's how Krishna starts. See, यहाँ पे now you hear my opinion, Arjuna बोलते हैं ना. See, so निश्चयं शृणु मे तत्र त्यागे भरत सत्तमा. Okay. Now I am going to tell you. Trividaha, tyaga is three types. How it is three types is going to explain. How it is three types is going to explain. So then he is saying, yagya dana tapa should not be given, but it should be done with this qualification. Sangam tyaktva phalani cha kartavyaniti. Like this you should do. And then Krishna is saying, वैसे so कर्म करो, लेकिन उसको इस तरह से करो. बोल दिए, अभी बोल रहे हैं. तो ये कर्म जो है ये कभी छोड़ना नहीं है. कर्म मतलब अभी यहाँ पे क्या है? कर्म का मतलब वही है, यज्ञ दान तप के बारे में ही बात कर रहे हैं अभी तक. सो उसको छोड़ना नहीं है, बोल दिए, करना है. बट यू हैव टू डू इट विद दिस कॉन्शियसनेस. आफ्टर सेइंग दैट, नाउ कृष्णा इज सेइंग, फिर भी यदि कोई अपने कर्म छोड़ देता है, क्यों छोड़ता है? बिकॉज ऑफ इल्यूजन. Because of illusion, if one gives up his duties, then that type of giving up, you say that is also tyaga because you are giving up work. काम को छोड़ देना इज तामस त्याग, वो दैट त्याग इज नॉट प्रॉपर त्याग, वो तामस त्याग है। देन फिर बोलते हैं किसी और कारण से इफ यू गिव अप योर वर्क, राजस त्याग, वो क्या है? दुखम इत्येव यत्कर्मा काय क्लेश भयात् त्यजेत, काय शरीर के क्लेश के भय से, काय क्लेश भयात्, ये कार्य करने से मेरे शरीर को क्लेश पहुंच रहा है, माई बॉडी इज has to go through pain by doing this work, उस भय से, out of fear that this work is giving me pain, if I give up that work, then that type of giving up of work is also giving up, त्याग, but that is राजस त्याग। ऐसे मतलब यहाँ पे है राजस त्याग, that is राजस त्याग, giving up of work out of fear। so यहाँ पे गिविंग अप ऑफ वर्क, हम इसको संन्यास बोल सकते हैं क्या? बिकॉज इज गिविंग अप वर्क, नहीं बोल सकते, ये संन्यास नहीं है। दिस इज नॉट संन्यास। ही इज गिविंग अप वर्क, बट व्हाई ही इज गिविंग अप वर्क? व्हाट इज द रीजन ही इज गिविंग अप वर्क? डर से, अरे इट्स गोइंग टू गिव मी पेन सो आई वोंट डू दिस वर्क। दैट टाइप ऑफ गिविंग अप वर्क इज नॉट संन्यास, दैट इज त्याग इन द मोड ऑफ पैशन। सिमिलरली इससे पहले जो आया तामस त्याग, मतलब ही इज ऑल्सो गिविंग अप वर्क, but just because he's giving up work, it's not sannyas. Giving up of work out of illusion he is giving up, मोह से वो दे रहा है। मोह क्या है? हमारा मोह क्या है इस संसार में? बॉडीली आइडेंटिफिकेशन, ये मेरा परिवार है, ये मेरे बच्चे हैं, ये मेरे हस्बैंड है, ये मेरी पत्नी है, ये मेरा कम्युनिटी है, ये मेरा कंट्री है, ये मेरा रिलीजन है, और वो दूसरे हैं, हम दोनों फाइट करेंगे। ऑल दिस इज व्हाट? मोह, इल्यूजन। सच क्या है? रियलिटी इज आई एम अ स्पिरिट सोल, एंड स्पिरिट सोल्स का आइडेंटिटी क्या है? स्पिरिट सोल इज सच्चिदानंद विग्रह, इट हैज नथिंग टू डू विद ऑल दिस आइडेंटिफिकेशन। लेकिन आइडेंटिफाइंग विद दिस बॉडी, कमिंग अंडर बॉडीली आइडेंटिफिकेशन, तभी हम सोचते हैं कि because of moh, so because of this moh, because of this illusion, if you give up your work, whatever that illusion may be, as an example it is said, oh मेरी पत्नी से झगड़ा हो गया, अभी मेरा मन एकदम टूट गया, मैं अभी ये संसार छोड़ रहा हूं, मैं संन्यास ले लेता हूं, ये illusion से। why he is taking giving up work? because पत्नी से झगड़ा हो गया, इसके लिए मैं छोड़ के जा रहा हूं, मैं संन्यास। in olden days, old movies you will see, even in Sant or see Gyane, Sant Gyaneshwar, his father leaves home, takes sannyas, uh, that like this, because whatever, aisa. So this type of giving up because I had a fight with my wife or whatever और कुछ और कारण है, ऐसा मोह से जब कोई दे देता है, मतलब he gives up his work, that type of renunciation is not really sannyas, that is not sannyas. So you should also understand what is sannyas. Sannyas means initially it is said giving up of work is sannyas. But why you're giving up work? If you're giving up work because of illusion, do you call that sannyas? No, that is tyaga in the mode of passion. I mean, in the mode of ignorance. And if you're giving up work because of fear, अरे बाप रे, ये परिवार है, इतना बड़ा परिवार है, इनको खिलाना है, पिलाना है, कितना काम करना है, फिर शादी करानी है, ओ टू मच हेडेक, मैं छोड़ देता हूँ, अभी जाके मैं आई जस्ट गो एंड आई गो अवे, इस ये झंझट से छुटकारा पा लेता हूँ, right? Out of fear of pain to the body, if you give up your work, then that giving up of work is not sannyas. That giving up of work is tyaga in the mode of passion. Then what is tyaga in the mode of goodness? Tyaga in the mode of goodness is not actually giving up work. रहो, घर में रहो और काम करो, you work, but without attachment. So is this person as good as a sannyasi? Actually yes, isn't it? Because उसका attachment नहीं है. He is working, and while working he has no attachment, he is not identifying. So इसका क्वालिटी बता रहे हैं, फ्यूचर में भी आगे जाके ऐसा आदमी जब सब कुछ यहाँ रह के, मतलब he is doing the duty of a kshatriya, अर्जुन को बोल रहे हैं ना, Arjuna is fighting on the battlefield as a kshatriya, but Arjun, if you don't identify yourself, right? मतलब आइडेंटिफाई की भी बात नहीं है, एक्चुअली इफ ही डज नॉट आइडेंटिफाई हिमसेल्फ एज अ क्षत्रिय, तब तो ही डजंट इवन नीड टू डू वर्क, आइडेंटिफिकेशन रहता है, बट अहंकार, हाँ, even actually if you don't have that identification that I am not this body, I'm not Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, तब it's called Parinishthita. That means आपको identification भी नहीं है. You don't have any attachment to the result. You don't have any association with the work. Still you are working. What is that type of work called? If you don't have identification with that body, मतलब आप cross कर गए. You crossed. लेकिन जनरली क्या होता है, वो जल्दी जाता नहीं है. दैट आई एम अ ब्राह्मणा, आई एम अ क्षत्रिय, वो आइडेंटिटी जल्दी जाता नहीं है. इवन इफ यू गिव अप द रिजल्ट, even if you are ready to undergo all pains and pleasures and you don't want the result also, वो doership जो होता है ना, that you know I am this करके, वो जाता नहीं है. So वो जाने के लिए काम करना पड़ता है. You have to do your duty. You have to do your duty. और यदि वो चला गया, okay, now you don't have that अहंकार, that I am Brahman, I am Kshatriya. Of course, फल की इच्छा तो पहले ही छोड़ दिया, फल तो आप पहले ही छोड़ दिए. And you are also willing to work. अभी काम करते रहेंगे, but you don't, मतलब देखिए, ये सन्यास जो है ना, it is a it is a progression of your consciousness. It's not just about dropping the work itself. It's a progression of your consciousness. तो पहले आपका consciousness कैसे था? Initially your consciousness was that I work because I want the result. Then now कैसे train किया जा रहा है? You work but don't take the result. Just give the result to the Lord. इससे क्या हो रहा है? Your heart is becoming purified. Your heart is becoming purified. Purified of what? Of the modes of passion and ignorance. Modes of passion and ignorance are being removed gradually if you keep working in this consciousness. Result nahi chahiye. I don't want the result. I will just keep doing the duty. Either as Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, whatever karma you have, that karma you keep doing. So usse kya hota hai? Your heart is becoming purified. But identification abhi bhi hai. I am a Brahman करके. Therefore I am doing my duty as a Brahmana. This is my prescribed duty. भगवान भी बोल रहे हैं, don't give up your prescribed duty. It's not recommended. क्यों? Because I have my identity. लेकिन ऐसे करने से क्या होता है? As you're working without attachment to the result, वो identification भी चला जाएगा. Because all the passion and ignorance, when it is completely removed, now you come to the mode of goodness. And in the mode of goodness, what happens? Mode of goodness produces knowledge. What knowledge? I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. So then, if you're a spirit soul, how you will identify yourself as a Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra? Externally, you may be doing the duty still. So वहां पे, even after you come to the stage of realizing your Atma, continue doing your duty. अगर आपने, if you realize your Atma, that means now you're actually, technically speaking, आपका संन्यास हो गया. Because even though externally you're doing
Yes,
work,
Prabhu.
you're not identifying with the body anymore. You're not identifying yourself as Brahman, Kshatriya. So
Hmm.
technically speaking, you're already sannyas. But still you may be doing your work. Like our acharyas also, right? In Grihastha ashram, still they're doing. But they have nothing. There's no identification with that body. Then in that case, is he a sannyasi or not? So there you can say, Tyaga and sannyasa are same, you can say there. Why? Because even though you're doing your work, you're not affected, you're not touched by that work. And Krishna says in the later verse, he says, such a person who has no ahankara, such a person, he will, even though he's killing, he is not killing and there is no bondage for him. There is no bondage for him. So वहां जो फाइन लाइन ये है, कृष्णा इज सेइंग डोंट जस्ट गिव अप योर कर्मा हेस्टिली. जब आपको लगे, व्हेन यू फील, oh now I have realized I'm not this body, I'm atma, now I'll drop everything, I don't need to do this work, now I will just drop everything, I will just act on the platform of the soul. I'll act on the platform of the soul. So now he will practice, because yes, you got antakarna shuddhi, but still uh, there is a chance of coming back, like deep down, that attachments, like you have left family, but you may still have that uh, you know that attachment, right, which is deep down. Superficially it may seem like it's gone away, but under certain circumstances it comes up. So to completely remove it, right now they actually practice jnana sadhana. So there is three types for jnanis. There are three stages. First stage is tvam padartha jnana. Second stage is tat padartha jnana. Third stage is aikya jnana. So tvam padartha jnana means you are not this body, you are a spirit soul. So this happens after nishkama karma yoga. Nishkama karma yoga means this, working like this, doing your karma but with a sangam tyaktva phalani cha kartavyani iti. With that mood, you have to do your karma. This is Nishkama Karma Yoga. By doing this, you will realize you'll get Tvam Padartha Jnana. Tvam, Tat Tvam Asi, right? Tat means that, Brahman. Tvam means you. Who are you? Atma. Tvam Padartha Jnana means you are Atma or I am Atma. Tat Padartha Jnana means Brahman is the absolute truth. Aikya means this Tat and Tvam are one. So this is the realization in stages. First, Tvam Padartha Jnana. Next, Tat Padartha Jnana. To realize Tat Padartha Jnana, they have to actually approach a Tattvadarshi Guru. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. They have to approach a Tattvadarshi Guru and then hear from the Upanishads, from the Guru. And while hearing, they practice jnana sadhanas. Are they doing karma at that stage? No, they're not doing karma at that stage. Right? They're not doing. Because now they have nicely realized Tvam Padartha Jnana, it is nicely established. Now they're aspiring for Tat Padartha Jnana. Tat Padartha Jnana means seeing no nirbheda, nirbheda, right? That means you don't see any bheda in different objects. Whether you see a tree, or you see the air conditioner, or you see your wife or husband or child or enemy or friend, everything you will see only Brahman. You don't see anything else. You don't see the book as a book. You don't see the computer as a computer. Everything, whatever you see, you'll see only Brahman. That's called nirbheda jnanam. That is tat padartha jnana. Tat padartha jnana means you're seeing that only everywhere, nothing else. You don't see any difference. So until that stage, they will keep practicing jnana sadhanas. What are jnana sadhanas? In the 13th chapter, those 20 are given, right? Ahankar, anahankara, right? Practicing humility and all those 20 practices are there. They will, while practicing those jnana sadhanas, why they do jnana sadhanas? To remain, to increase. They're already in the mode of goodness. Now they have to increase that mode of goodness in order to realize Tat Padartha Jnana. They have to uh, increase that goodness. This mode of goodness is called Vidya. That covering of Vidya, they have to increase it, because in Vidya, when that is increased, they'll get this Tat Padartha Jnana. So for that, they're no, Tadpadartha Jnana, how they get? When Vidya is increased, the Upanishads that they are hearing from Guru, they will be able to grasp the message properly. For that, they have to practice Jnana sadhanas. They are not doing karma at that stage. But before that stage, even though you have realized, even though you got Antakarna Shuddhi, still, भगवान का बोलने का मतलब है जल्दबाजी मत करो in dropping your work. Even though you have realized, करते रहो कुछ दिन तक, उसको अच्छा से सेट हो जाने दो, that you are not this body or atma, that tvam padartha gyan, let it be firmly established. So what is the harm if you did, even if you did work, right? You don't have anything to lose, because your consciousness is, you are not this body. Externally you're doing that work, right? And internally, yeah, you still practice your jnana sadhanas, no problem. Immediately chhod mat dena. That was the lesson, that was the point there. So then while practicing like this, at one stage, ab uski zarurat bhi nahi hai, you don't need to practice that also. So then you just go on. So that's the message there. So if you see the whole picture, if you see the complete picture of how one is progressing, then there won't be any doubts or questions. So you're saying Nitya Karma? Yeah. So after you get Antakarna Shuddhi, you continue your Nitya Karma. But up to what stage you will continue? Eternally you will continue? No, you won't continue. Up to,
Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
yeah, कुछ समय तक, after taking sannyas also, कुछ समय तक नित्य कर्म करते रहो. लेकिन ये नहीं समझना चाहिए। अगर ये भी समझ रहे हैं कि त्याग और संन्यास एक है, हाउ टू अंडरस्टैंड त्याग का कॉन्शियसनेस क्या है, त्याग इन द मोड ऑफ गुडनेस, और संन्यास जब ले लेते हैं उसका कॉन्शियसनेस क्या है। उन दैट इन दैट
हम्म,
सेंस यू कैन से दोनों का कॉन्शियसनेस
दोनों का
एक जैसा है।
सेम या
यदि
यस
इफ
मैम।
यू से आप जैसे बताई ना, अगर ऐसे समझते हैं कि त्याग और संन्यास में कोई फर्क ही नहीं है, दोनों एक ही है, तो उसको आप पूरा पिक्चर कैसे एक्सप्लेन कर पाएंगे, बताइए।
This is sannyas, ignorance in ignorance. If we say that not त्याग in मैं तो आपको सोच के बताऊंगी बाद में।
अच्छा, बाद में बताएंगे, ठीक है, नो प्रॉब्लम। नो
Because
प्रॉब्लम।
या अभी
या ठीक है, ठीक है, आप सोच के अच्छे से बताइए, नो
हाँ,
नो
मैं
प्रॉब्लम।
आपका जो आपने मुझको सब बताया मैं सुनूंगी। एंड अगर मुझे मेरा तो ऐसे ऐसा डाउट नहीं है क्योंकि पहले कुछ और सुना, अभी आपसे कुछ और सुना, और फिर
या
मुझे दोनों में लगा कि डिफरेंस है, सो आई जस्ट थॉट टू रिकंसाइल बोथ थिंग्स एंड
यस
सोचा कि
यस
आई
यस।
विल चेक द बुक। सो आई
या
चेक द बुक एंड आई फाउंड दैट उसमें ऐसे लिखा है और आपने ऐसा बताया है। सो आई वांट
या
टू रिकंसाइल, सो आई विल हियर इट अगेन वट एवर यू सेड टुडे, बिकॉज माजी बीच बीच में बहुत बार बोल रही थी। एंड आई विल लेट यू नो। ओके माता जी,
यस
थैंक
माता
यू
जी।
सो मच।
श्योर
या
श्योर श्योर, हरे कृष्ण।
थैंक यू।
Okay, so we have half an hour left. So today we were going to see from text 40. So this section we saw different type. Anyone others, do you have any question about what we discussed so far in the 18th chapter? Does anyone have any question? No, right? Okay. So we saw three types of happiness. Now, what is Krishna saying in text 40? Natad asti prithivyam va divi deveshu va punaha sattvam prakriti jairmuktam yad ebhi syatribhir gunaihi. There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems which is freed from these three modes born of material nature. So far, what did Krishna say? That Tyaga is in three modes, karma is in three modes, karta, the doer or worker, is in three modes, and each one he explained goodness, passion, and ignorance. Uh, Tyaga in goodness, tyaga in passion, tyaga in ignorance. Again, he explained um, Jnanam in goodness, Jnanam in passion, Jnanam in ignorance. Karma in goodness, karma in passion, karma in ignorance. Karta, the doer in goodness, the doer in passion, the doer in ignorance. Intelligence, buddhi in goodness, buddhi in passion, buddhi in ignorance. Dhriti, determination in goodness, determination in passion, determination in ignorance. Sukham, or happiness in goodness, happiness in passion, happiness in ignorance. And previous to this, in the 17th chapter, if you remember, faith in goodness, happiness, and distress and ignorance. Then also Krishna explained um, food in goodness, passion, and ignorance. Like this, he had explained. So the three modes, everything that you see is coming in three modes. So now Krishna is saying there is no being. So there is no practically everything within this material world. What is it made up of? Uh, I will show you this. I think it's the third one. I forget which one. If I drew the whole thing, it will take some time. So I'm trying to just take what is already there. I want to show that creation part, that diagram. Forget which one it is. Okay. Huh. So see, this is Karanodakshai Vishnu. He's glancing on Prakriti. What is Prakriti made of? Prakriti has the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. What is coming from Karnodakshay Vishnu? The living entities are coming. Jivatmas covered by avidya and karma. They are coming. And then Prakriti is producing all these universes. How these universes, how they are formed, before the universes are formed, actually the elements are formed. The 23 elements are formed. Oh, I'm not sharing the screen. Sorry. So, uh, so there is another one that shows how the elements are formed. Let me see. Okay, you're able to see the screen, my whiteboard. This is Karanadakshay Vishnu. Karanadakshay Vishnu is glancing on, this is Prakriti. So before the Lord glanced, Prakriti was in an inactive stage. Inactive stage. She's called Avyakta. Okay. So that means the three modes are there in Prakriti. These modes are in equilibrium. So there is no creation. The modes are in equilibrium. Prakriti means she's made of these three modes. Now, Karanodakashayi Vishnu is glancing on Prakriti. Glancing, by his glance, what is he doing? He's sending all these living entities inside Prakriti. The living entities are inside the body of Karanodakashayi Vishnu. When he glances on Prakriti, I'm talking of at the beginning of creation, how this universe is created. So Karanodakashayi Vishnu is glancing on Prakriti, and when he glances, he's sending all the living entities into Prakriti. Who are these living entities? These are conditioned souls. This is Atma. Okay, inside the dot is Atma. Atma is covered by Avidya. Avidya means ignorance. What is this ignorance? This ignorance is a component of Maya. Okay, so Atma is covered, right? Has a covering of a component of Maya called Avidya. Avidya. And also Atma has its karma. Because of this Avidya, right, it takes birth again and again when there is a creation. And when it takes birth means it gets body, gross body, subtle body it gets. So when it gets a body, it does karma. And then there is that karma which it carries with it. So this Atma, so after Pralaya, after annihilation of the universe, all the living entities go back into the body of Karanadakshay Vishnu. So they are staying there in his body until next creation. So here I am explaining this creation. So this happens again and again and again. You cannot say when it started. It's not that creation started at one point. Creation happens when he glances. And then after creation, the creation lasts for 100 years of Brahmaji. After Brahmaji's 100 years, there is total annihilation. Once again, the remaining living entities who are not liberated, they all go back into the body of Karanodakashayi Vishnu. These living entities are covered by avidya and karma. Okay, avidya and karma, and they're staying there in a dormant state. That means in a sleeping state. They just stay there until the Lord opens his eyes again, glances on Prakriti, and again there is another creation. For how long has this been going on? Anadi, there is no beginning. Since when? There's no beginning. It's been happening eternally like this. The conditioned souls. But when there is creation, if you come in contact with a devotee or with a Jnani sadhu, then you get an opportunity to take to the transcendental process. So mainly two paths are given. One is Jnana Marga, the other is Bhakti Marga. If you take to Bhakti Marga, then you go back to the spiritual world, either Vaikuntha or Goloka Vrindavan, you can go back. And if you take to Jnana, then you go and get Brahma Prapti, right? Go and merge into Brahman, like this. And that means when you go there, then that means you went already. You left this material creation, you went to the spiritual world. So there's no question of coming back again. One who is liberated like this, either by getting perfection in bhakti or jnana, one who is liberated, there's no question of coming back for him. Who comes? The remaining living entities who at the time of pralaya, right, everything is destroyed. all these conditioned souls, they go back into the body of Karanodakshaya Vishnu and stay there until next creation. So here I am explaining what happens in creation. At the beginning, means for the next creation, the Lord opens his eyes. When he opens his eyes, because he's in Nidra, isn't it? Yoga Nidra. Karanodakshaya Vishnu is sleeping in Yoga Nidra. And then when he wakes up, when he opens his eyes, he looks at Prakriti, glances at Prakriti. What is Prakriti having? She's having Sattva, Rajas, Tama. These three, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. They are in this Prakriti. Now you are able to see my cursor, right? This cursor inside. So before this, everything was inactive because the modes are in equilibrium, so there is nothing. Just she is there. When the Lord glances, he is sending his Kala Shakti, his time into Prakriti, along with all these Jivatmas or living entities. And also the Vedas are also the Lord's energy. The Vedas are also coming here at this time. Okay. So now Prakriti has these living entities, the living entities. And because of Kala Shakti, when the Lord sends Kala Shakti, Prakriti becomes agitated. That means the modes which were in equilibrium, now they go out of equilibrium. One is more, one is less. Sattva, Rajas, Tama, they are out of equilibrium now. So Prakriti, which is now out of balance, right? That means when she's agitated and also she is carrying all these living entities within her, she is known as Pradhana. So the second stage. Now this is Prakriti with all the living entities and Kala Shakti. Because of Kala Shakti, her modes are now out of equilibrium. She is called Pradhana. From this Prakriti, now creation begins. What is the first thing that Prakriti produces? Is this Mahat Tattva. So Mahat Tattva is like the like the total material energy, you can say Mahat Tattva. Okay, Mahat Tattva. This Mahat Tattva is made of what? What I'm trying to impress upon you is what are the things that we see all over in this creation? What is the composition? What is it made of? I'm trying to tell you. This Mahat Tattva is nothing but mode of goodness primarily. Mahat Tattva, the composition, Mahat Tattva is made of goodness. It's just made of goodness. Now this Mahat Tattva produces Ahankara. Ahankara is made of ignorance. Now you may ask how Mahat Tattva is producing from goodness, you are getting ignorance. See, the thing is, these three, goodness, passion, and ignorance, they are like best friends, or you can say like brothers. They never go apart from each other, they always stay together. You will never find only goodness or only passion or only ignorance. In this material world, it is not possible. Is it possible to have pure goodness in material world? It's not possible. Always, anything you take, it will have all three. But the proportion varies. When goodness is more, then you call it, oh, this is goodness. But in reality, there is goodness mostly, but there will be some passion, some ignorance also. Okay? And in another element, you will see passion is more or ignorance is more. That doesn't mean the other two are not there. They're there, but they're there in very small percentage. Nevertheless, all three will be there in everything. That you should remember. So when I say Mahat is made of goodness means what? 90%, 99% it is made of goodness. But there will be some ahankara, passion and ignorance also. Oh, wrong share. This one. Okay. So this is made of goodness. And from Mahat, the next thing produced is ahankara, false ego. False ego is primarily in ignorance. Now, this false ego, which is primarily in ignorance, is of three types. That means it's primarily ignorance and secondarily it will have sattva. So it's like ignorance, goodness, ignorance, passion, and ignorance. Okay. So What is ignorance goodness? Ignorance goodness produces mind and the controlling deities. Okay, this ahankara is what? False ego, which is made of ignorance. But this ignorance in goodness, that means what? Ignorance goodness is producing mind, our mind, and controlling deities. Then ignorance passion is producing what? Intelligence and the senses. You have 10 senses. Okay? Ahankara in ignorance, in passion. Ignorance passion is producing. That means what is the composition of intelligence? Ignorance and passion. Ahankara in passion. That means what is the composition of intelligence? Ignorance and passion. Mostly passion. What is the composition of mind? Ignorance and goodness. Mostly goodness. Then tamas means ignorance. So ignorance produces what? Gross elements. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, and also subtle elements. Form, taste, touch, like this. What are these? These are these 23 elements with which the universe is made. Everything within this universe is composed of these 23 elements only. Then what are these elements made of? What are these elements made of? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. Everyone is with me? Whatever you see in this creation, I'm showing you from the beginning of creation how this big creation started. It started by the Lord's glance on Prakriti. Prakriti is composed of these three modes: goodness, passion, ignorance, sattva, rajas, and tamas. By the Lord's glance, which consists of Kala Shakti, this Prakriti is agitated now. And along with Kala Shakti, the Lord is sending the living entities also, conditioned living entities. Now this Prakriti which is agitated is producing what? Is producing the various elements. Mahat, then Ahankara. Ahankara means false ego. Then mind is produced, intelligence is produced, senses are produced, gross and subtle elements are produced. All these things are the 23 elements. They are the building blocks for this entire creation. Various universes, they are formed with these 23 elements only. And along with these 23 elements, there is the living entity, the Jivatmas are there. So, for example, our body, the gross body and subtle body, right? Gross body is made of what? My skin, my blood, bones, flesh, muscle. What is this made of? Earth, water, fire, air, ether only. What is my subtle body made of? My subtle body, mind, intelligence, false ego, chittam. Chittam means mahat. Okay, mahat. So mind, intelligence, false ego, chittam, senses, all this is my subtle body. What are they? These 23 elements. What is the composition of these 23 elements? Sattva, rajas, tamas. So whatever you see, anywhere in this entire creation, you go up to Brahma Loka, down to Patala Loka, wherever you go, and any time, whether Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga, it does not matter. All people, all types of species, right from Brahmaji up to Patal Loka, and even the smallest virus also, they're all made of what? Everyone has a body. Body means it's made of these 23 elements. 23 elements are nothing but goodness, passion, and ignorance. So, can you find any person in this whole universe who's free from these three modes? You cannot find. That's what Krishna is saying in this verse. Text 40, what is Krishna saying? Natad asti prithivyam va divi deveshu va punaha. You will never, there is nobody. Natad asti. Asti means what? Hai. There is. There is, natad asti means there is not. Where? Whether you see on this prithvi, on this earth, or in the sky, or amongst the demigods, or anywhere else, you will never find anyone who does not have this Sattvam Prakriti Jair Muktam Yad Evi Syat Tribhir Gunaihi. Everyone is there. These three gunas, they are made of these three gunas. There's nothing, you won't find any person who is not made of these three gunas. Why? Because everyone has a material body. We are all conditioned souls. Don't count the liberated souls here. We have eternal associates of the Lord, liberated souls, right? Who are in this world. We are not counting them. This world is majority. This material creation is there for the conditioned souls. And all of them, all of them have material bodies. And these material bodies, why you're even getting these material bodies? Because you have that karma. Based on your karma, you're getting material bodies. That means you're all under the influence. We are all under the influence of these three modes. So this is the beginning of the Lord's description. You remember this point. Because next what he's going to say is all based on this point. That's why I spent so much time explaining this to you. It is very easy to say, what is this Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, right? It's not, it's not applicable to this world today. This is some, like you hear some fairy tales back in the day, many in previous yugas there used to be. It is not relevant in today's world. This is very, you hear this all the time. How it is relevant, Krishna is explaining. This is the foundation. In today's world, is anyone free from the influence of three modes? Can anyone say that I'm not made of the, I'm free from the effect of the three modes? Yes, a pure devotee will say, or a liberated soul can say. But what is our experience? Are we influenced by the three modes or not? So, with this foundation, that nobody, not just on this planet Earth, even in the heavenly planets up to Lord Brahma, right? Nowhere in this entire creation, natad asti prithivyam va divi deveshu va punaha satvam prakriti jair muktam yad ebhi syat tribhir gunaihi. There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems which is freed from these three modes born of material nature. So that's where we will stop Bhagavad Gita reading today. What is today's point that we learned? Nobody is free from the influence of the three modes. Now, how to deal with this? Our goal is what? Jnanam, Gyayam, Parigyata. Right? Using Jnanam, you want to come out of this influence of these three modes. Because of the influence of three modes, only we have these bodies, and I'm identifying myself with this body. Now I want to realize I'm not this body. How to do this? There is a way that Krishna is going to explain. So now let us, we spend a lot of time on Bhagavad Gita every day and we have very little time for Bhagavatam. But we will get back to Bhagavatam soon. Just, this is important section. And if I simply cover the subject and if it's not sinking in, then what is the point, isn't it? That's why I'm spending time. If we understand Bhagavad Gita properly, if we have a proper foundation in Bhagavad Gita, then Bhagavatam we can understand. The foundation is very important. That's why I'm spending time here. Ah, but we'll do Bhagavatam also now. Srimad Bhagavatam. I didn't bookmark yesterday. So yesterday we already saw, this is Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, 5th chapter, the meeting of Nanda Maharaj and Vasudev. So yesterday what we saw was uh, Vasudev ji came to meet with Nanda Maharaj, and seeing Vasudev, Sahasa Utthaya, immediately Nanda Maharaj got up, Deha Pranam Ivagatam, and he felt as if, life came back to his body. Like until now he was dead, and by seeing Vasudev, as if his, his body received life. That means he was so pleased. Pritaha, he was so pleased to meet Priyatamam, the one who is dearest to him. And then Dorbhyam, he immediately embraced Vasudev because Nanda Maharaj is older. Saswaje prema vihvalaha. and then being actually Saswaje, uh, in his, so Dorbhyam Saswaje means he embraced Vasudev in his two arms, and then Prema Vihvalaha, right? He became complete Gad ho gaya prem se, right? So tears and uh, unable to speak, throat choked up like that. And this is not just Nanda Maharaj's condition. Exactly same thing is applicable to Vasudev also. When Vasudev saw Nanda Maharaj, he felt the same way. That life came back to his body, and then he immediately, was embraced by Nanda Maharaj. Not that Vasudev went and embraced Nanda Maharaj, because Nanda Maharaj is older. So older ones embrace the younger ones. So Nanda Maharaj embraced Vasudev, and Vasudev being embraced by Nanda Maharaj, he was also in ecstasy, right? Out of love, both became Prema Vihvalaha. Then we also read this verse yesterday. Pujitaha Sukham Asinaha. So now Vasudev is visiting Nanda Maharaj. So Nanda Maharaj is the host. So Nanda Maharaj worshipped Vasudev, and then gave him a comfortable place, and Prishtva Anamayam Adritaha. So here, actually, Vasudev's inquiry begins in the next verse. All this is still Nanda Maharaj. So Nanda Maharaj is younger, right? So what is the duty of one who is younger? His duty is to offer obeisances. Yes? Even younger ones meet superiors, younger or subordinate, either way. When you meet your superior, you should offer obeisances. This is the etiquette. And the older ones or the superiors, they should inquire about the well-being. How are you? How is your health? How is everything, like that? This is the etiquette. Not that the subordinate goes and offers obeisances and the subordinate is only inquiring. Not like that, right? So both have to play their part properly. So, and also when there is a host and a guest, it is the host that should, receive the guest and, make the person feel comfortable, offer some worship, give some water, like that, make them feel comfortable. So Nanda Maharaj did all that to Vasudev. He's the older one. And then he inquired also, how is your health? I hope everything is okay, you're healthy, like that. So now the conversation will begin. Pujitaha sukham asinaha, sukham asi. After being worshipped, after being comfortably seated, prishtva anamayam adritaha. Adritaha means being honored, right? Who? Vasudev. After being honored by Nanda Maharaj. How? By offering some worship and giving a proper place to sit, and also some sweet words are exchanged in the way of asking inquiries. How is your health? Like that. So Nanda Maharaj asked. Okay. After all this, prasakta dhi swatmajayor. What is the condition of uh, Vasudev? Pra asakta. Asakta means what? Completely absorbed, attached. Prakrishtena asakta. Prasakta. That means especially, completely. Dhi means what here? Dhi does not mean mind. Dhi means intelligence. So this is also very interesting. Uh, what is his intelligence fixed in? Swa Atmajayor. Atmaja. Atmaja means what? I told you. Atmaja. Jo Atma se janam leta hai. One who is born from. Atma means, Atma can mean body, Atma can mean mind, Atma can mean soul. So here Atma means body. One who is born from this body. So Atmaja means what? My child. Right? Atmaja means one who is born from me. So it is my child, either my daughter or my son. So Vasudev's intelligence is fixed in his Atmaja. Who are his Atmajas? Krishna and Balaram. Both Krishna and Balaram are now with Nanda Maharaj. Vasudev, whose intelligence is completely absorbed in his Atmaja, idam aha vishampate. Idam aha. this is what he said. So this is how he spoke. So until now, Vasudev didn't say anything. Only Nanda Maharaj was speaking. He was inquiring, how's your health? And giving offering a seat and all that. After receiving all this, now Vasudev is going to speak. Next verse. Vasudev is going to speak now. And what is Vasudev's condition? Prasakta dhi swa atmajayot. Prasakta dhi means his intelligence is fixed in his sons. So here there is one explanation about this dhi. Why is it said intelligence? He could have said that his mind is fixed in Krishna and Balaram, right? What are the functions of mind? Loving, hating, all this is the function of mind only in this world. We are not talking on the level of the soul, right? Bhava platform, that's different. But function of mind is accepting, rejecting, attachment, hatred, love, all these things are happening in the mind. So if Sukadev Goswami had said that Vasudev's mind is completely fixed in Krishna and Balaram, that means he's always thinking about the beautiful form of Krishna, the beautiful pastimes of Krishna and Balaram, and the wonderful qualities of Krishna and Balaram. That would be his meditation. But Vasudev didn't get any chance. One of those two boys he didn't even see. He didn't even see Balaram. Balaram was transferred from Devaki's womb to Rohini's womb, and Rohini she gave birth where? In Gokul. And she's been there. So Vasudev didn't even see. And we already discussed, Vasudev can go anywhere in this whole world, but he will never go to Gokul. Because for fear of any harm that can come to his sons because of Kamsa. If he went to, because he will be constantly watched. He was in the prison for 8 years, right? What happened, right? The eighth child is already born somewhere. But how, right? So that question will always be there. So even though Vasudev is released, Kamsa can be, his spies can be all around trying to find out where is Vasudev going. And if he goes there, through Vasudev, they will track Krishna. And this can be danger. So Vasudev can go anywhere in the whole world, but he will never go to Gokul. So he never went. So he didn't even see one of the boys. Balaram, he didn't see. And Krishna, he only saw in the middle of the night, just 5 days ago, this happened. Okay. So he took the baby and he dropped at Nanda Maharaj's house and he came back. That's all. So to say that his mind was absorbed in Krishna and Balaram, no. Then, but his intelligence was completely fixed in Krishna Balaram. What is intelligence doing? He's thinking for their well-being. That was his meditation all the time. My boys are safe or not, and then I have to give them proper education when they grow up. But I cannot tell anyone that they are my sons. That will be danger. He never said this to anyone. He never revealed that Krishna Balaram are his sons. He never revealed this until the death of Kamsa. After Kamsa was dead, then he revealed. Until that time, he didn't reveal it. Even though people started talking when Narad Muni revealed to Kamsa, right, just before Krishna Balaram came to Mathura, Narad Muni had revealed to Kamsa. That's when he got Vasudev arrested for a second time. But at that time, Vasudev was in the prison house, so there was no point. He was not going to go around and tell people, Krishna Balaram are my sons. But after Kamsa was killed, when he was released, that's when openly to everyone he was saying that they are my children. But before that, he didn't. Because of fear of Kamsa, he wouldn't say that. So this is Vasudev's condition, his state of mind. So, but in his intelligence, he's constantly, like a father, right? He's concerned. I hope they are safe and they have to be given proper education. They have to be trained properly, right? There'll be future Kshatriyas like that. Constantly he's thinking. That's why Prasakta Dhi. 24 hours his meditation is about the well-being of his sons. They should be safe and like that. They're getting proper, food, etc. Of course, also his worry, he would worry for them all the time. Right after birth, Krishna was taken away from his mother. He didn't even get to drink his mother's milk, right? Yes, he had this satisfaction that, oh, he will get Yashodama's milk, he must be drinking. But still, he didn't get his mother's, milk. He's separated from his mother. I don't know how he will be there, you know, like that. Constantly worrying and thinking. This is prasaktadhi, right? His mind, his intelligence is always fixed in both Krishna and Balaram. So such Vasudev, right, whose intelligence is like this, now he begins to speak. What is he going to say? Ah, so we already know now what is his state of mind. Fear. He's always in fear that Kamsa may not know. There may not be any danger for my sons. So text 23 is saying, Dishtya bhratah pravayasa idanim aprajasyate prajashaya nivrittasya prajayat samapadyata दिष्ट्या भ्रातः प्रवयसा इदानीम् अप्रजस्यते प्रजाशाया निवृत्तस्य प्रजायत् समपद्यता. My dear brother Nanda Maharaj, at an advanced age you had no son at all and were hopeless of having one. Therefore, that you now have a son is a sign of great fortune. Purport. At an advanced age, one generally cannot beget a male child. If by chance one does beget a child at this age, the child is generally female. Thus, Vasudev indirectly asked Nanda Maharaj whether he had actually begotten a male child or a female child. Vasudev knew that Yashoda had given birth to a female child whom he had stolen and replaced with a male child. This was a great mystery, and Vasudev wanted to determine whether this mystery was already known to Nanda Maharaj. On inquiring, however, he was confident that the mystery of Krishna's birth and his being placed in the care of Yashoda was still hidden. There was no danger since Kamsa at least could not learn what had already happened. So, this we will discuss tomorrow because it's overtime, past 8 o'clock. But there's explanation, we will discuss it tomorrow. Thank you all so much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. समवेत गौर भक्तवृंद की जय. वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो. Yes, Mataji.
Mataji. No, thank you.
Mataji, Atmaja, you said that Atma can refer to mind, body, and soul. So,
Atma.
Atma, Atma can refer to mind, body and soul. So, in which text we take Atma as mind and body?
When to take as Atma, when to take as body, that Acharya will explain. So according to context. So when there is Atma, then from the commentary you understand here Atma means you should take it as mind, or here you should take it as body, like that. So in this case, you take it as body, born from him.
Born from him. Okay, Mataji. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.